what's going on, everybody? This is David Brooks, the Cadillac Counselor, coming to you today to talk to you about the Board of Education. If you've noticed in the last week or so, I've put together a couple videos of the 4 of the 7 that are running for the Board of Education in 2022. They call themselves the Student First Slate. Today, I will be interviewing the Education, Not Indoctrination group that has Miss Angolia, Miss Allen, and Mrs. Rose. I would love for you to have some comments, subscribe, continue to watch, and make sure that you learn what you need to learn so that you can vote in an intelligent way. Only thinking about the children, the students, and the community with every one of your decisions, all right? So with that, I have the Education, Not Indoctrination group, and I will let them introduce themselves right now.
Okay, so we typically go alphabetical, so I'll go first. How we do it. I'm Nancy Allen, and I am part of the threesome here that's running for Education Not Indoctrination, running under Education Not Indoctrination Slate for Frederick County Board of Ed. I think that most people have either seen us or heard from us. If you have not, I'll give you just a little bit of background. I have lived in Frederick County almost all of my life. There is an exception of a few years when I was younger that we lived outside of New Orleans, but the majority of all of my school years were spent in Frederick County Public Schools. I met Cindy and I met Olivia. It's been almost 2 years. Has it been?
Year for me now.
Yeah,
And 2 for you and
year.
her.
Yeah. So, anyways, it's been a while. We started out as a slate in June of 21 and have been going strong since then. We came together because we feel aligned with the positions in which we'd like to see the direction of the school system go.
You're next on the alphabet.
Hi, I am Olivia Angolia. I've lived in Frederick for 21 years, graduated from FCPS, same with my husband. I decided to get involved because we would like to send our future children to FCPS, but we are a bit concerned about the quality of education children are receiving. And we want to make sure that school is a neutral place, that it's not leaning one way or another ideologically or politically, and that they're just getting the best quality education based on academics and parental rights are respected.
I am Cindy Rose. I have lived in Frederick County since 1999. I have graduated 3 FCPS students, and my youngest Ben goes to Rock Creek School, and he's got a couple more years left there. And I'm running for the Board of Education with these lovely ladies because we want to restore the focus to academics and get away from the activism and the politicization and the sexualization and the identity-driven curriculums and resources and lesson plans. And that's what we're here for, to do education, not indoctrination.
There was a couple followers. I'm always been in the moderate mind state. Like, I'm not really far on the right. I'm really not far on the left. I really don't care about either side. But that's been a major topic, Democrat versus Republican. And they say that this election is going that direction. How do you feel about the Board of Education being a lot of centerization on the particular parties of politics? How do you think that's playing into this election?
Well, I think that you really, their positions on the board are labeled nonpartisan, but in this particular election, I think there's some real defining positions that you're either aligned with the Democrats or you're aligned with the Republicans. I think all 3 of us, even though we would probably fall under the Republican ticket, we probably classify ourselves more or identify more as conservatives than we do Republicans. So, and we have traditional values. And so that's kind of the positions that we're coming from. Now, they're gonna align probably more in the Democrat eyes with the Republican ticket. So I'll just put it there.
What we're doing or what we would like to see done in the schools, I think, is neither Republican or Democrat. I think we would all agree that we want a quality education for our children, a good foundation in history, a good foundation in science, math, and reading, and less on the social things. I think parents are concerned about the quality of the academics, and the scores that just came out recently, as a matter of fact, this morning, are horrendous. They're saying that our students have never been done poorer. So the quality and the focus hasn't been on academics and as much as it's been on activism and cultural things as opposed to academic things.
I think that education in general, but especially here in Frederick County, has been going down a progressive road now for a very long time. You can even look at the endorsements that the teachers union has made for this election. They are all Democrat progressives. And so I don't really seek to necessarily turn education conservative, but I do think that we need to swing the pendulum back a little bit and just bring it back to the middle.
The minority community feels that you guys are not for them, and I don't know whether or not that's true or not, but I just want you to speak on how do you feel that you are going to represent the minority students in FCPS?
I think you would represent them like you would everybody else. You just treat everybody the same. You don't highlight any particular class or group of people. I think the big push for the systemic racism, I've asked FCPS for data that shows that Frederick County Public Schools are systemically racist. There's no such data. The bullying and harassment data doesn't show that minorities are getting bullied and harassed any more than any other group. So I don't think there should be a concern or worry that we don't care. We care about everybody the same. Every student should get the same world-class education, regardless of their skin color, their sexuality, their geographical location, their socioeconomic status. Every child should be treated the same no matter where they are.
There was a student that sent me a question, and it says, as a LGBTQ student of FCPS high schools, how do you plan on protecting them from hate speech?
Well, there are policies in place for bullying and harassment. So I would say we're all for the enforcement of the existing policies that are in place that protect children and keep, kids safe. But I don't know if you can really prevent
Right.
speech. I mean, you can't, that type of thing is going to happen. I mean, it is going to happen. It's unfortunate that it does. I think you just deal with the incident when it happens. I don't know if you can entirely prevent it 100%.
And again, the bullying and harassment data doesn't show that they're a picked on class of students. So if you teach that every student should respect every student, then you would necessarily correct that problem. No one should be disrespecting or rude to anyone, whether they're gay, straight, or whatever they are. Treat every student with respect, and then I think you've covered all the bases.
There was a comment, and it stated, it says, is there anything that you do like or want to keep or continue to promote within FCPS? And can you mention any positive policies that you see that are going on right now in the Frederick County Public Schools?
I don't understand the question really. There's a
So,
lot of things going on individually within classrooms. There's learning and there's things happening, but I don't know as a system-wide thing that I would promote. I mean, we're in transition now because of the DOJ. We're in transition now because we have a brand new superintendent. So there's not negatives and positives. It just is what it is. We're in a big state of transition because of everything that's happened. And, I think we can all work together and make it a much more positive place.
a lot of people have been having a whole lot of issues just with the indoctrination group, education, not indoctrination. Do you think that it is just a ploy to get their side to get more votes, or do you think that some of the things they're saying are true? I don't. I've been watching this going on, and it's kind of getting annoying with just the battling back and forth. And I just want to know, do you guys think that this is like, are they really painting you guys to be so hateful and mean? Why do you think that's being done?
You'd have to give a specific where they've said we've been hate. What have we said? What have we done that demonstrates that we're not being,
Okay, like for instance, somebody asked a question. It says, I want you to ask Cindy, why does she keep going to the board meetings, bringing up books and reading excerpts from them? What does she think she's doing by this? Why? What do you think?
I'm letting the public know that there are overly sexualized books in Frederick County Public School libraries that talk about masturbation, that talk about incest, that glorify sexual abuse. There's actually a person out there who thinks that's a bad thing to let the public know what's in the school library.
I don't listen. I know that there's too many problems out there. Like for me, I work with mental health, and I'm watching the mental health in Frederick County, and I've spoke up about it in certain meetings, and they can tell you that there's really not. I mean, I heard they're getting some more psychologists on board, but I think that the kids' mental health in general is being pushed out, and nobody's focusing on that. And even with the LGBTQ community, I've said before that I don't think they're prepared for what they're trying to do with bringing competent people to have these discussions with students. And so, with that being said, what do you have planned for mental health?
I think if you stop focusing on all the problems that there are in the world, they're focused on racial division, they're focused on sexual division, they're focused on everything except learning. And if you don't think that's messing with the child's mental stability, they want them questioning their gender. They want them questioning if they're racist because they're born white or if they're victims because they're born brown. I think, and I've asked this question of Dr. Alvin for years, don't you think that some of the things that you're teaching and you're having the students focus on is affecting their mental stability? Well, I think if we were to roll all that back and go back toward focusing on math, reading, and science as just math, reading, and science without infusing all of the other social, cultural, activist type things, then you might see if the mental health stuff might settle down and become a little more calm. They have children uber focused on all these superficial things and they're not letting them be people. They've turned them into activists.
Why?
You know, there was just a study that came out, well, not a study, but it was an article, and it was a teacher, and she was also a psychologist, and she indicated that they're, having these kids use pronouns or forcing them to use pronouns that don't directly identify with the biological sex is very confusing, and especially to the younger children, because they haven't really fully developed. So you're introducing concepts that are age inappropriate. So yes, these kids are confused, and then they're getting in trouble if they're not using the proper pronoun that another child thinks that they should use, or an adult is not using that. And I think it's a punitive type of system that just isn't going to work, and it's not going to play out well. And like Cindy said, remove that from the school environment and focus on the academics.
I think that COVID and the school system's response to COVID has also played a really large part in the decline in mental health for these children. I think that it really promoted an environment of fear, isolation. And I've even talked to some younger people who they don't want to socialize anymore. They don't want to be around people. They'd rather be sitting in front of their computer at home to be talking to their friends. Or they don't want to go outside without a mask because they think they're going to die. I think a lot of people are very traumatized, and I do think that needs to be addressed. And I think just changing the culture and the environment of the school system would go a long way, like Cindy said.
So tell me, what would you guys do to change the culture? If all three of you got in right now, what would be the first thing that you would do to change the culture of FCPS?